Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Nina and Gladys. Nina and Gladys, the one thing that I've always said, whenever you put those two together, as much as I do not like Nina, when you put her next to Gladys, she suddenly becomes a better person by proxy. Um, Gladys came there to pretty much ask for money. And at first, he tried to lie to Nana, being like, oh, well, it's for Sasha's medical bills, and, they really want the money. They want the money right now. Nina at this point was like, yeah, I don't got time for this. So if you're not going to sit there and tell me the truth, you can sit there and kick rocks. Like, go. So Gladys is, surprisingly, Gladys is like, yeah, I kind of gambled a lot of money away. Like, she actually told the truth, and I'm not going to lie, I really thought she was going to try to spend this, but she told the truth. And at that point, because at first, Nina was like, well, why don't you not asking Sonny for this? Like, y'all cousins, why don't you sit there and ask him? And when she found out the real reason, she was like, okay, so if Sasha actually had access to her money, then you just would have used her money. And of course, Gladys like, but I would have paid her back. At that point, Nina just had enough. Nina was like, yo, listen, you either tell Sonny or you sit there and deal with your dad. Either way, yeah, I want you out of my office. Um, so, I mean, obviously, I give Nina a lot of props for that because she was like, yo, you was really just going to sit there and use Sasha's money? So she practically tells her to kick rocks again. Now, the doctor's there, and of course, he's in there giving Sasha God knows what kind of stuff in the system. And Janice is there, and Janice is like, "Yo, listen, she's getting worse. She may need to go to a different place." And so the doctor calls up Gladys, like, "Yo, listen, yeah, here's the thing. She's not really doing too good, and long story short, if I don't have my money, I'm gonna make sure that she does not sit there and talk. I gotta sit there and cover my own ass." So then Gladys goes back to Gladys goes back to Nina. It's like, all right. So here's the full story, not the other. Here's the full story. And he tells her like, yo, listen, there's a doctor I gotta sit there and pay, and if I don't pay, it ain't gonna look good for Sasha. So I I give Jay's props for actually finally getting, not dragging it out. Because I feel like if this was maybe a couple months ago, or hell, even like a year or two ago, they would have dragged this whole thing out, even with Nina. Now Nina knows the full truth. So I know she's going to be pissed off at Gladys because, I mean, hell, pretty much the internet is pissed off at Gladys, but at least she's going to probably wind up doing something. I mean, hell, at the very least, she could sit there and just contact Sonny, let Sonny sit there and take care of it. Sonny would have no problem dealing with that doctor. Now, speaking of Sonny and Brick, one of the things, well, that was more confirmed, but also we found out Betty's status last night from the, what's it name, say, mystery guest, or maybe it was a couple of days ago. So Betty's gone. Betty is in Mexico at this point. And of course, Sonny's like, listen, she's not out of my grasp, so if I need some questions answered, I have no problem to getting in contact with her. They talk more about Pikeman, right? And Sonny at this point, he's like, yo, you know what? I'm done with this whole thing. Like, I almost got shot, bullets started flying. I don't feel like dealing with these people. Listen, screw the money at this point. But Britt tells Sonny the same thing that Valentine told him, which I'm just like, I don't feel like Sonny is just listening at this point. Pikeman is not the type of group you just want to sit there and be like, you know what? I don't like the way this game is going. I'm just going to sit there and take my toys and just go home. And, best of luck finding somebody else to sit there and deal with job. They're not that type of group. Okay. So, I think Brick was like, yo, listen, they may sit there and just move you from the whole chessboard and just get somebody else to sit there and deal with you. Which, I think Brick put out a theory, pretty much they're saying like maybe that's what this mystery boss wants. Take a shot at Sonny, make it really dangerous, make it to a point where Sonny doesn't want to work with Pikeman. Pikeman takes Sonny out, and that eliminates the competition. Which is actually kind of stupid now I think about it because the way that Brick is that they're talking about this Pikeman group, they're like mega rich, connections with the government and everything like that. So it's like, why would they, like, why would, well, at this point, why would Cyrus take out Sonny or have Pikeman take out Sonny? Oh, never mind. Just because of the money. Because of the money. I keep to think. I was like, man, I actually forgot about that because that was probably like one of the reasons I was like, I mean, yeah, people gotta sit there and shoot you every day. So I mean, what's the difference? I mean, making some bank, like I mean, you're sitting there getting shot out for way less money than what they're giving you. So just saying. So yes, that's why that theory kind of does hold some water at least because they take out Sonny or Pikeman takes out Sonny, the next person or Cyrus could sit there and work with Pikeman and get that money because they just throwing it out hand over fist at this point. At first the way Lucy was there talking when she was in the courtroom with Maxie and Brooklyn, made it sound like she didn't have a lawyer at all. But then she has some woman, I can't remember her name. What's her name? But then the lawyer actually did show up, and of course, Jackson was there, representing the client. So they're talking back and forth, and then finally towards the end, Tracy comes in, and Tracy's like, "Yo, listen," because at first Tracy was there, and of course, you got Lucy and Maxie, and be like, "Hey, yeah, we're just so glad that you're here, for support and stuff like that," and she just had that dead face look on her face, like, I don't know what y'all talking about. It was like the type of look that she had on her face. It was like it was not the yeah I'm coming here to sit there and cheer y'all on. And she told him she's like nope, I'm here for my client to make sure that this person get their just due or whatever. And of course the whole time Brooklyn's just sitting there just shaking her head. I'm like Brooklyn, if you just would have sat there and told the whole truth to Chase, this whole thing could have just been avoided. But you didn't. So I feel maybe tomorrow. I feel like um, the truth is fully going to come out, and well, they're not going to want to actually have anything to do with Brooklyn at this point. Now, the scene with Carly and Michael didn't really go anywhere. To be honest, it was more of an update for the people who haven't watched it in a while, as far as Drew and trying to get him out of jail, talking about Austin and um, updating her on the whole Betty situation, and also not getting Drew involved because at one point there was like I think Carly was like maybe we could sit there and ask Drew like what was Austin doing there. Michael was like, nah, we don't want to sit there and rock the boat with the protection and everything like that and put him more in danger than he already is. Also, the scene with Cyrus and Drew also didn't really seem like it went anywhere. Cause like you really stop and think about it. The only thing that Cyrus said was like, well, since you're in Senate protection, but technically by proxy, I'm under Senate protection too, since you're always not there practically jumping out a window for me. Um, he's always just like, oh, all my life, and yada yada yada. I'm gonna repay you. Um, I feel like he probably will at some point, maybe. I have no idea. Now I think about it. Scene went absolutely totally nowhere. So, I'm gonna be honest. I know that Trina, for a while knows that now that Curtis is her dad. But I'm not gonna lie, it still just kind of rubs me the wrong way every time that Trina calls Curtis dad. It's just something about it. I mean, you can acknowledge him that that's your father and that you love him and everything like that, but you know, Tag. I was about to sit there and say, "What? Tagger has actually been your dad for such a long time." I just feel like it's just a very fast thing to do to sit there and just give somebody else that title after you only known him for so long and you just recently found out that that's your dad. Dad, hey, I'm glad that you're home. I love you, and it's just like it just doesn't sit right with me. But anyway, she is well, to be honest, trying way too hard, and eventually Portia's like, "Yo, listen, I get what you're trying to do, but you might actually just be making it worse. Pushing him too much. You gotta sit there and go at his pace and stuff." Meanwhile, you got that going on. You got Marshall Smith telling Curtis about the club and it not really doing so well. Talking about Miss Selena wanting to buy the club. At this point, Curtis is like, "All right, well, why don't we just sell it then?" He basically already sits there and says like, "I got the club for a reason, and I kind of already fulfilled that. So like, there's really no point of owning the club at this point." Which it actually is because um, what else did you plan on doing? Unless he just plans on just having Portia sit there and pay all their bills. I just don't understand. I mean, I get the idea of, I don't know. I actually, now I sit there and think about it, it's like, I don't know why he doesn't. I mean, maybe because he's just in still kind of a funk and, still somewhat in shock. Well, not really in shock, but just, I'm going to be honest. I have no idea why he doesn't want to run the club because he does seem like he is accepting his reality a lot better. um, as best he can, with the situation, even telling Portia, like, yo, listen, um, I love you, but I'm not going to love you in a biblical sense. So he does seem like he is accepting his reality, but I just don't understand. It's like, well, if you're not going to own the nightclub, then what are you going to do? It's not like the whole being a WSB agent is still on the table. So what's the backup plan at this point? I feel like that's about it. This wasn't a terrible episode. This was a somewhat semi decent episode. I could have done without the Sunny, Brick, Carly, and Michael scene because they were just pretty much just updates for the most part. No, well, okay, maybe I could have done without the Carly and Michael scene and keep the Drew. I mean, keep the Sunny and Brick scene. I definitely would have took out the Drew and Cyrus scene because that scene definitely went nowhere. I think actually, to tell you the truth, the best scene. I can't believe I'm actually saying this. It's the scene with Gladys and Nina. We all know how much I can't stand Nina, but when you put Gladys next to her, it's damn near night and day at this point. As some of the horrible things that Nina has done, as far as like stealing Ava's baby and stuff like that, um, is nowhere near. Unfortunately, nowhere near compares to what um, Gladys is doing to Sasha. So yeah, it was probably actually the best scene in the episode. And yes, hell did actually freeze over once again, so that's saying a lot. Anyway, with that being said, I feel like that's about it. I might have forgot something. And as I always sit there and say, if I did forget anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows, YNR, Days, BMB, and of course GH. And with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.